One of the games that really helped define the PlayStation 1 and put it on the map was the original WipEout. That blazingly fast 3D racing sci-fi awesomeness in disc form.
Yes.
For the Vita, the PlayStation Vita, Sony is sort of redoing WipEout with WipEout 2048.
Yes, Studio Liverpool is doing it again, and it's amazing.
Okay.
Okay, we can leave now. Bye bye. It gave me exactly the same feeling I had the first time playing WipEout.
Like 20 years ago when
yeah, I think I played it in 1999 or something like that. But I had that feeling of, wow, how the hell did they do this? I've tried Mod Nation Racers, Witch Racer F1 on the Vita, and to me it felt like, okay, they're decent games, but they're not quite there. And I was beginning to think, okay, you can't do
maybe
speed
you just can't
or fast
do
stuff.
racing.
Yeah. And then WipEout came along.
Destroyed everyone else, I guess.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. The feeling of speed is sensational in this one. But I think the biggest thing is that they are going back in time. They're going to, 2048. And telling the story of how WipEout became what it is. So you've got all these well-known cities, but they have sort of smashed tracks on top of them, and it just works really well. You've got that feeling of, okay, here's an old building and a tower. Let's see if we can squeeze a track in between, and maybe use the tower to go like a roller coaster. And everything feels like it's half done. Like they're trying to figure out how
like it's still under construction.
Yeah. So you've got all these matches. They're basically mixing new stuff and old stuff, and it just looks so good. You've got a feeling where you're speeding along some trees, and then suddenly it's bam! You've got a lot of neon signs and a podium, a stadium, and it just seems like a crazy mix, but it works so well. Also, you've got the different classes, as always, the different ships in WipEout, and you've got all the classics from Phaser, etc. So you've got the one who is aimed at speed, and you've got the one who's a fighter. But you've also got the prototypes, which are basically trying to screw the whole game up. Some of them are saying like, you can drive really fast. If you don't hit anything, you will keep accelerating forever. We don't know what happens if you reach top speed, but that's it.
Nice.
Just go. So it feels a whole lot like they're just putting stuff together now, figuring out how much can they do with the different vehicles and different tracks, and it just gives a new vibe to the WipEout game, at the same time as looking really nice.
I know one of the features that's been touted about the game up to the release is the possibility of playing multiplayer along with the PlayStation 3 game, WipEout HD.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, the good thing is you can actually just, well, of course you don't have the whole selection of tracks, but you've got some tracks, and you can go into a lobby and basically just wait and play a game.
Cool.
There's nothing more to it. You can use the tilt function if you want that. You can use the analog sticks, which works really well in this game. If you don't think they work well, by the way, you can sort of get kind of an autopilot helping you. And I'm not talking about the power up, but I'm talking about you can get it through the whole game. And of course, in the lobby, you can decide whether or not to include this.
Sure.
But it seems so seamless, the way you can just play with a PS3 player. They've done a good job.
All right.
And yeah, well, it's Studio Liverpool has basically squeezed everything out of that machine for now. I think it's many of the games I've seen on the PS Vita. I've compared them to a lot of iPad gaming and stuff like that. And of course, you can see some tiny details that seems to be better. But overall, you got a feeling that, okay, you could probably play this on some of your other handheld consoles or a mobile. But this one is just like, no way. You cannot squeeze this amount of detail into an iPad game or an Android game for now. And it's really one of the games I would recommend. I know on the Japanese release, a lot of reviewers were talking about a tiny bit of lag on the tracks, and I didn't see anything like that. It's steady,
all right,
and it's fast.
So that's WipEout.
It's WipEout, yes. It's WipEout like you remember it.
WipEout 2048.